Pass with all. Review minutes and approve for October 13th, 2025.
I had one typo on the top of page 4. And it's part of a sentence that says, again, pretty, and it says pretty had statement to say. I think it's supposed to mean pretty hard statement to say, but I'm just guessing.
That would be my assumption as well, just given the context of the meeting.
And John, I had a question on pages 9 and 10. It showed each of the separate items that we separately agreed to each separate finding of fact, and didn't we just vote once for all the findings of fact?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, we did do separate?
I think I was the one that asked to do separate, yes.
Okay,
I believe so.
well, that was all I had, was the one on page 4. With that correction, I'd move to approve.
I'll second that.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve minutes from October 13th. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
All right,
Opposed, same sign.
I'm going to vote absent, or I'm going to abstain because I was absent that night.
Passed with the other 4. Review and approve the minutes from November 10th, 2025.
I just had a question on that. We're talking about 11/10/25 meeting, but on the paper it says December 12th.
November 10th.
Is
That's when they, I
printed?
think that's when they typed it.
Okay,
That's what I was gathering.
okay,
I believe that's correct.
okay.
Anybody have any changes or
Move to accept the minutes as written.
second.
we got a motion and a second to approve the minutes? All in favor, signal saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed with all present. Okay, notice of public hearing, Way Park, Planning Commission will hold a public hearing at Independent School District 742 Administrative Offices, 1201 Second Street South, door 5 at 6:30 or soon thereafter, Monday, February 9th, 2026, to hear the following request. Request of Virginia A. Revocable Trust variance from Way Park Ordinance Section 5211 Subdivision 6 to reduce minimum lot size area A1 agricultural residential property from 10 acres to 2 acres. Public hearing opens at 6:37, I believe.
Yep. Planning Commission, this, again, this request has been submitted by Ms. Streifels. The full legal entity name is Virginia A. Streifels Revocable Trust. Again, for variance from our ordinance, section 52.11 subdivision 6, which relates to the minimum lot area in the A1 agricultural rural residential district. The request is to bring down the minimum lot area for a new parcel from 10 acres to 2 acres. The general site address for the property is a vicinity of 9182 County Road 138. Approximately 2 acres for purpose of transferring the ultimate parcel to the applicant's grandson. and their associated family to construct a new dwelling on the property and facilitate current owners move to a new patio home within the community, which they've expressed would be preferable a living arrangement for her. The proposed 2-acre parcel would be similar in design, kind of layout, and size of similar pre-existing parcels in the immediate vicinity on that particular stretch of County Road 138. There's a small handful of other parcels that are in that 2-acre range, as well as if you go a little further out, not immediately next door, but you go to Old Highway Road North, that area, there's a few parcels that are in that 2-acre range. If the variance would be ultimately approved by the city council, the property would then be platted accordingly, which we'd have to do for a building permit for a new home. Excuse me, I had a typo there from a previous report I took some language from. The platting is required prior to the issuance of a building permit, except in very limited circumstances associated with some instances that wouldn't apply in these circumstances. Given that the request is to grant accommodations for an immediate family member and the hardship being imposed is beyond the scope of control of the applicant, staff would be supportive of the request. The 2-acre allowance instead of the 10-acre standard requirement would be reasonable in staff's opinion. Again, given the nature of the surrounding properties in the vicinity and in line with previous accommodations for other sub 10-acre parcel creation to accommodate family needs in other ag rural residential zoning district areas. We have to take these kind of requests on kind of a case-by-case basis, so we consider kind of what's immediately surrounding the property, so we're not doing stuff that's too far out of line with the surrounding property or the adjacent parcels. This one seems to be reasonable given the pre-existing, but I do urge caution just with when we consider these sorts of requests that we have to be a little bit judicious in how we review them and consider the context of the area they're in. Have been established and justification for the variance exists. I don't believe that it would impart special privilege to the applicant or property, and don't feel that the granting of the variance would be detrimental to the surrounding properties or diminish their use or value. I'm supportive of the request and recommend approval. As this request does include a public hearing component, the Planning Commission would need to have your public hearing, and you've already opened that. So the options you'd have before you tonight would be the first, approval of the variance is submitted, or to a lesser degree, you always have the option to any number between that 2 and below the 10-acre. You could deny the variance with the findings of fact or recommend denial, or you can recommend the tabling. It's always an option, but we have to stay within the review period as well. And we'll go down a little bit and just take a look at the attachments here. Get an idea of the in red parcel kind of subdivided out of that property right here. That's the border of the as well. Parcels to the south, I believe those are private cemetery. The general kind of the proposed split here. So this would be what they'd be looking at. This is zoomed in a little bit. I can turn it here as well. Zoomed in a little bit from so right here, you can see the boundary line of that parcel, that existing one, a Hunter M Strifles. So that would be they're splitting that off.
The map that we had with our packet.
Yep.
Residents,
Hang on,
those little corners.
I'm gonna go back up here. I just need to turn my document again. I lost my page. I'm sorry for that. Right to
Carol,
right there. That's
that is, there's it. What about the other corner then? I get,
just barely make it out. It's kind of in that middle area. I it would put that
existing house is going to stay?
speak to that.
Come up.
Okay. I guess my only question is, Wade Park's feeling has been to stay more toward the area. I'm wondering if we're kind of establishing an issue here with going all the way down to 2.
And I can say we did have those discussions with the applicant as well. I outlined the same, that, our history of we've done a 1 or 2 or 3, 10 or 10 to 5 sort of arrangement. Their comfort level is going down to 2, which I'm a little bit, kind of on the fence on. But again, when we review these, you have to kind of consider what's the surrounding. Nothing exists in a vacuum, so with the existing and across the street, but because they're a little higher, it's getting outside. But to look at the board when we size now and going, as they may come in this realm.
For more 2 acre
That's the property to the north. Route for our time. They have it's possible activity out there. Property is separate from this one.
Okay. What area acreage of this?
I don't have,
6 acres.
it does include this property here, that's then you see right here, I only highlighted this spot here, but it includes, so it's yeah, and I did include that parcel is included for the notice context.
Mhm, mhm. Areas now? Where the 2 houses are?
The one across the road, I think, is a little under 2 acres, maybe. I think that's very close to.
He's
Microphone on? Maybe, okay.
Property has a farm road. Entrance way to the rest of the property.
Line.
Yeah. I know economic. You know, they're stretching what they can afford to it.
This is the farm road.
Hmm?
That's the farm road.
Okay.
That's why this line's not straight. Hmm? It's on the back side of that map.
Okay, then I missed it.
So I take it the rest of the property is gonna remain farming or whatever?
Well, I guess if, you know, John, if you're comfortable with it, it's fine. I guess I'm a little concerned about putting ourselves in a position where we're, you know.
Yeah,
we expect-
I track. I'm in the same boat too, because I'm the one that has to, have those initial conversations too, and it's always again, it's very case specific, and like the applicant said, we can't really consider economics as part of it because you can have more parcels for the same amount of land if it's smaller, obviously. But every area is going to be a little different. If you go on the other side of town, a 2 acre parcel in some a certain area might make sense. It might not if you're out, further north or south or a different area. But it's very case by case. That's why we have to consider kind of all the factors. So it's
Just so we can allow ourselves room to deny one if we want to, you know what I mean?
yeah. It's always within purview. That's why I try to establish that. What's the rational, the hardship here, and what's the consideration, and it. Yeah, I don't know if if we get the question again. There are, there's not a lot of other ones. I can say I've had contact with another property that's not terribly far away that, again, a family situation that they're looking toward the future and what do we do? How do we do it? And we have to put it out there that if you can choose to make an application, if you do the 10 acres, it's very cut and dry, but anything less than that is your variance territory, and the smaller you go, the more of a challenge it becomes. But I'll acknowledge it can set a precedent that we could see more. But when we have others, at the same time, when we have other properties out there that are smaller than that already, I'm sure you can see from both sides of the aspect there.
And I'm trying to avoid arbitrary and capricious. I mean, it seems like for this parcel, to allow the rest of the farm to continue to be a working farm, that there is some constraint here, that it's not really practical to make this a 5 or 10 acre parcel. I mean, I assume that the large building just to the south of the 2 acres is part of the farm. Yeah. So you can't really go south, and to cut off your road doesn't make any sense to me. And so parcel?
From the, family and relationships in the con. When we have, it's a little bit easier to, intent is to sell it or for highest bidder. True, what it weighs on my mind when we look at it's as a community we've traditionally taken into some level of consideration. We have roots run deep in the ag and rural areas especially, so we try to we have a history as a community of trying to find some middle ground and accommodating family members if we have the ability to do so.
Well, that being said, I guess I would move for approval of the.
We gotta close the public hearing first.
Okay.
You got a motion?
Yep, I'll move to close public hearing.
Second it.
Got a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 Against, same sign. All present. Public hearing closed at 18:50 or 6:55. Any discussion? Commissioners? Or a motion?
I guess I'd go ahead and make a motion for approval of the variance as requested.
Second it.
Regulations that have been put on.
I would second
Motion
it.
and a second. Any other inputs or anything? We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed with all present. Thank you, Mr. Royals.
Thanks.
And for the Strifles, this will be, the intent is to have this on the docket for next week's city council meeting. We're going to try to turn around fast as we can here. So that meeting will be next Tuesday, the 17th, with Monday being a holiday. So it'll be Tuesday, next Tuesday, 6:30 PM, this room.
President's Day.
Yep.
Forgot about that. I usually forget it.
I open public hearing, ends up staying or?
Yeah, that's what I'd recommend.
Got a notice public hearing. The Cityway Park Commission will hold a public hearing at Independent School District 742 offices, 1201 Second Street South, door number 5, eastern side of the building at 6:30 PM or soon thereafter to hear the following request. Robert R. Zabinski, revocable trust review, primary and final plat of Zabinski Acres Plat 3. The property is legally described south half of the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter Township 124, Stearns County, Minnesota. Public hearings opened at 7 o'clock. 6:57 exactly.
Planning Commission, this request has been submitted by Mr. Zabinski to preliminary and final plat of proposed Zabinski Acres Plat 3, which would be a proposed new parcel, one lot, one block in the Ag A1 area to be located on the northern portion of what is the currently Zabinski property at 2705 County Road 6 and adjacent to the previously approved Zabinski, excuse me, Zabinski Acres Plat 2. The applicant is pursuing potential sale of the property for eventual development for a single-family home. Again, development of the home would not require specific approval, provided it adheres to all the the standard ordinances, but we can't approve a building permit until the property would be platted. The proposed plat for Zabinski Acres Plat 3 separates a parcel of just a hair less than 20 acres just to the south of the previously approved Zabinski Acres Plat 2. The property does meet or exceed all the criteria for the ag rural residential district, just given its size and layout. Pretty straightforward. I'm waiting on the documentation from Stearns County Highway Department, just regarding their conditions of approval regarding the frontage along a county road. That's standard fare for anything that has frontage on a county right of way. We have to fill them in, or the applicant or someone on their behalf has to get their certification. Their comments are usually pretty boilerplate that we receive back, just more of a formality. But then that certificate has to come with for the plat copy when it's recorded. We'll need to have the payment in lieu of parkland dedication. I note that the park board will need to review this, but in this case, because it's a single lot, single block, that they really don't have a need to review it. That's more in the case of when there's a calculation based on valuation. That's when we like to get their take. The 836 per parcel is set in ordinance in the fee schedule, so it's a little more straightforward for something like this. So this, again, is pretty straightforward, a single lot, single block. I would recommend approval of the preliminary plat of Zabinski Acres Plat 2 with the conditions as outlined, and then for the preliminary plat. And based on meeting those conditions with the prelim plat, I also recommend approval of the final plat. So my conditions would be pretty standard here. The property is subject to the requirement for payment in lieu of parkland dedication. We take that payment before we do any signatures on the plat for recording. And then the property is subject to the conditions of the certifications as provided by the Stearns County Highway Department, just due to their frontage on County Road 137. Provided that the conditions of the plat are satisfied, staff recommends approval of the final plat. And I would note that we do have 2 planning commissioners involved with this request that have a stake or vested interest in it, just to affirm that doesn't influence my decision here at all. This is not contentious, but I just want to affirm that your status as planning commissioners doesn't influence my decision on anything here. So we can scroll down and take a quick look if you'd like. So you can see here, this would be Zabinski Acres. Zabinski Farm, Zabinski Acres Plat. This is an area here. Box out a little bit so we can see.
Is that going to be one huge lot, or is that going to be subdivided?
This is a public hearing. If anybody has any input for or against.
Okay, it can't be put on the plat, but there is an easement. Wade Park wishes for a 33-foot easement for roads. For the sake of the future and what could happen later, there is an easement of 16.5 feet on the south edge of that property to access the property behind it, should it ever be needed. And if and when the parcel south of that would be sold, the other 16.5 feet will be taken off of that one, or noted on that one, just for your knowledge.
The 16.5 feet can be utilized now to put the driveway in.
Mhm.
Can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing. All in favor, signify by aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. At this point, me and Bob gotta step back and you guys discuss and vote on it.
I think you call the vote. As
Or
chair.
they have to make a motion first.
Well, it obviously goes well beyond the 10-acre ordinance. So I really don't see a problem with it.
I agree.
I also agree.
I would move to accept the plat as laid out.
And I would also second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the plat. And all in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Passed with 3 commissioners.
And two abstentions.
2 abstained, Bob Zeminski and Tim Jansky.
And Commissioner Jansky and Commissioner Zabinski, the same thing applies. This would be on for next Tuesday's city council agenda,
Okay.
What time is that?
6:30.
6:30?
Yep, right here.
Here again?
Yep, Tuesday.
Thank you.
Any new business or anything you need to, want to add there?
I don't have anything else for tonight. I'm not aware of any other pending applications, so I'll keep you in the loop as we may need to have a next meeting. I don't know if we'll have anything for next month or I don't have anything on the pipeline at the moment, but that can change in a hurry too.
Motion for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second to adjourn. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. 7:05.
Thank you all.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for the moral support.